Hey there. Okay, so if you are anything like me in this middle season of life where you might be approaching perimenopause or you might even be somewhere in that menopausal season, I know you are probably experiencing this body fat distribution change that occurs, and you're probably asking yourself, why me and why now, right? Like, where did this come from? So I wanted to just kind of explain and talk about that a little bit because as your body shifts into this menopausal season that we're in, your natural production of estrogen and progesterone both decline pretty drastically, which then causes an imbalance that affects your body's relationship with cortisol and increases your body's insulin resistance. So there's a bunch of things going on, and those are all hormones. And so this really is about this kind of hormonal shifting that's happening. And menopause, it does drop your estrogen, which then leads to more testosterone dominance for most women. Now, that doesn't mean that you're producing more testosterone. It just means that your decreased estrogen is providing kind of less counterforce against the effects of testosterone in your body. Because yes, you always have all of them circulating around. Even as women, you have testosterone. Now, your hormones are what tells the body where to put its fat. And so when estrogen is dominant, estrogen tells the body to distribute the weight around your hips and your butt. Testosterone, on the other hand, encourages that distribution of fat to be around the midsection. That's what we call truncal obesity. Lovely, right? On your trunk. But that explains that pooch that you've probably seemed to have developed right around your belly, right? Thank you to lowered estrogen, which means that testosterone is more dominant. And that imbalance of hormones, those lower estrogen, lower progesterone, causes this imbalance, but it also causes a decrease in muscle mass and bone density. So estrogen and progesterone hold a pretty significant role in a lot of things. That's why hormones are kind of important, right? And without those higher levels of estrogen that you've had in your past, your, like I said, your muscle mass is affected, your bone density is affected, but so are your tendons and your ligaments, which is also why we tend to become a little bit more vulnerable around this time period. And we get maybe injured a little easier, or we have joint pain. That's all thanks to that decline or decrease in your estrogen and progesterone that is naturally happening on at this point in life. Okay. Now, add to that what most of us tend to do when we see this body fat redistribution creeping in around our belly, is we respond to those changes with some pretty erratic food behaviors, right? We skip meals, we eat salads or rabbit food. We basically try to lower our calories as much as possible, all while also trying to increase our cardio, making sure that we're going on our walks or taking that crazy spin class or doing Zumba or whatever. And hate to break it to you, but all of that is actually adding to the burden the body is under at this point rather than reducing the burden. I know. Sounds counterintuitive, but understand that the body is going through an awful lot of transition right now. And this is the time when we need to start paying a better attention to our overall metabolic health. Your body is a metabolic system, okay? You are in this turning point. And now with this body fat that's choosing to hang out on your belly, your body is literally giving you signs that tells you it needs a little support. And don't worry, you can correct those behaviors and actions that are tending right now to really increase or drive up that age related metabolic change that you're experiencing. We just have to make some changes in our approach, okay? Your hormone shifts combined with what we usually see at this age also, which is a decrease in energy expenditure, all of that pulled together, all of these little things going on can cause weight gain, but it doesn't have to. Okay. Now, there are going to be people out there who are going to tell you that hormones have nothing to do with weight gain. And there are others going to tell you that hormones have everything to do with weight gain. And I'm here to tell you it's actually a combination of multiple factors. Hormones are one of them, but so are several other things that I've already mentioned. And I don't have time. I'm not going to take it all today on this video, but I do want to do a little bit more of a deep dive into what's going on and why you are experiencing these kinds of physical body composition shifts. And it's so hard to figure out why. And it's also frustrating because you think, well, I've done everything right. I'm doing it all right. I've done all the things. Why am I still seeing this excess fat? Why do I still like my body is shifting and changing? And is it really just age? Okay. Once you understand that the shifts are happening, then you can begin to create an appropriate plan for really addressing what your body needs at this time. Rather than trying to fight it, we're going to work with it. Okay. And don't forget, too, that whole mindset thing that I talked about the other day. This is when we have to do some of that homework about mental framework, right? And growth mindset. And pair that with your exercise and training formats, how you're doing that, really whether or not your body is going to benefit from those same things that you did 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. Your body's in a different place. It needs a different plan. And then also we have to we would be negligent if we didn't talk about food and the fact that we really have to optimize our protein intake at this time of life also. And that includes moderating and maybe decreasing our carbohydrate consumption. Those are all things that are lots of details, not going to talk about today, but put that in your little noggin, okay? We have to increase our protein intake, decrease our carbohydrate consumption, and balance how we ask our body to move and live, okay? And all of that comes from activities of daily living, right? Nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing, but there's an awful lot to show us too that your metabolic health, your overall metabolic health is greatly aligned with your muscle health. And you know me, I gotta love the muscle, right? But there's a reason for it. Your muscle health actually drives your overall metabolic health in your body. It affects the strength and the vigor of systems uh, throughout the body. All of your body's functions, systemically speaking, are affected by the health of your muscle, lean muscle mass, and the amount of lean muscle mass, which also, unfortunately, at this time, most of us see a decline in muscle health. So we have to really, again, this is where I'm saying we have to really target where our body is and make some shifts to account for these hormones and changes and metabolic health and all of this shifting that's happening at this stage of life. Okay. Now, when it comes to muscle health, of course, the very best time to start on that is when you're young. And however, if that was not you and you're just now looking at me and you're 55 years old and you're like, what do I do now if I didn't have all of that previous history of muscle development? I'm going to tell you the next best time to start is now. Okay. Building and maintaining healthy muscle development lays the foundation for your longevity. And when I say longevity, I don't mean just living long. I mean living well. That high quality of life living a long time, living well and feeling good for that long time. And the healthier your muscle mass is, the greater your chances of living and thriving for a long term. That is the goal. It's not just about vanity. I know it is a little bit, right? You want to get out of the shower and be proud of that body that you see reflected back in the mirror. But improving body composition not only is good for the psyche, but it's also giving you a lift in so many ways, metabolically speaking. Yes, you will look better. You will also feel better. Your overall health will be better. It provides for better sleep, increased energy, of course, more strong and being more flexible. Literally will turbocharge your life and the ability that you have to do all the things that you want or need to do in your crazy busy life. It is literally under your control, and the time is now to take over and to make sure that the aging process is not taking away any of that freedom. No, no, it doesn't have to. And we just understanding where you are right now is the very first step in, like I said, creating that plan of action, making the shifts to give your body the supports that it needs to age well. Protein, resistance training, lean muscle mass development, focusing on those things, that's going to give you a big head start. So that's all for today. I'll see you next time.